On this special panel discussion, we will embrace U.S. business with some knowledge and strategies to foster a green and more sustainable business landscape. And in order to do that, I will invite our moderator for this session. He is Mr. Silverius Oscar Unggul from Kadin. Please welcome Bang Onte on stage.
Thank you very much, Mona, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very interesting talk show with the distinguished speakers today. Our talk show will be about the renewable energy, powering the future with renewable energy solution. And I want to invite to the stage first Ibu Elim Sritaba. Ibu Elim is a Chief Sustainability Officer, Asia Pulp and Paper. Please, Bu. And the second is Ibu Josephine Setiono, Executive Director, Indonesian Global Compact Network. Sini, boleh Bu. The third, Miss Lizia Ramos. Correct, ya? She is engagement lead, science-based target initiative, SBTI. And the important one is Professor Dr. Insinyur Dwi Suryo Indroyono Susilo. I usually call him Pak Indroyono, General Chairman of APHI. Thank you, all speakers here. Ladies and gentlemen, we know renewable energy is a very important issue for us, especially if we're talking about climate change and etc. And Indonesia have a target also for this. And for today, we will talking about the renewable energy from many perspectives. You know, here there are private sectors. We will hear from Ibu Elim how APP doing powering future by renewable energy solution. And then also we have speaker from Global Compact, Ibu Josephine will will inform us about what Global Compact network do to encourage company, to help company to do the renewable energy. And here also Ibu Licia about SBTI. You know SBTI is have a standard on decarbonize and have a framework about net zero. Ibu Licia also doing good things in Brazil. Of course, we want to hear about how Brazil success with this SBTI. Maybe this is interesting for Indonesia. We will hear a little bit about that from Ibu Licia. And of course, Pak Indroyono, if the others talking about emitters from the forest, from the members of APHI, we absorb carbon and we can provide solution. We're talking about maybe energy from biomass or etc. Pak Indroyono will explain more about that. Okay, let's start with Ibu Elim. Please, Ibu Elim, give us view about what APP do in this context. Please. 10 minutes, enough?
No,
10 minutes.
thank you, Pak Onte. So yeah, let me explain what is APP for those who not understand our industry. we are one of the biggest pulp and paper industry in Indonesia, and also one of the biggest in the global. So we market our product more than 150 countries, and we already committed on SBTI under Net Zero Hub on Indonesia Chamber of Commerce. Maybe you just go to the next slide. Oh, sorry. So APP have a sustainability roadmap vision 2030, consists of 3 pillars. And we focus today on the production part, which is reduce 30% our carbon footprint. And the second pillars talking about the forest protection. And the third is improving lives in terms of people. So APP commitment basically supported by ESG policy, which is, I think, in details you can check in our website. But I would like to explain about our effort in terms of decarbonization. So the target to reduce 30% our carbon footprint, what we have been done, we start with the energy efficiency. We know that pulp and paper needs a huge energy to produce the pulp up to paper. And of course, our responsibility also to do some decarbonization effort. And a lot of processing within the operation itself, starting how we can also thinking about the phase out coal to renewable energy. And some part we already also use the green electricity by buying the REC, and how also we convert from waste to energy like biogas, RDF, and also some part of the hydrogen. And also the reduce transportation carbon footprint within the operation. And of course, moving forward, how we can also find another new technology can support the business. Just to get you overview our pulp and paper mills, we have 3 pulp mills, and 2 from the 3 pulp mills basically established before 1990. And if you see the pulp mill fuel distribution, we basically in average already almost 60% use renewable energy from the processing of the pulp itself, black liquor, and some using natural gas. And of course, we still have 40% based on the coal. And in the paper mill side, we mostly still rely on the coal. So just to explain about one of our latest pulp mill in Oki in South Sumatra. So this design, a new design for the can use renewable energy. And from the report end 2020 and up to year to date August 2023, basically we already use renewable energy, which is mostly from the black liquor and biomass, is almost 99%. So this to show you how we really focus on the renewable energy within our production, because we understand the challenges is basically mostly in the old pulp mills. Just to see how our effort in terms of contribute to the renewable energy, APP has been committed to install the solar PV, which is right now, up to now, we already installed about 18 megawatt for the solar panel, and going forward up to 2025, we will achieve 30 megawatt. And another processing that we continue to contribute to the renewable energy to maximize the efficiency, especially within the operation itself. So that's maybe I can stop until now. So just to show how we try to use the biocircular economy within the process itself to maximize the efficiency of the existing machine.
Oh, okay, very interesting. Maybe I run to the other speakers and then I come again with Ibu Elim. Okay, next, maybe Ibu Josephine, can you share about what Indonesian Global Compact do? Bu?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Panggil Pak Onte.
Yes.
Okay, Pak Onte, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to be speaking today. I'm Josephine. I'm the Executive Director of the UN Global Compact Indonesia. What we do actually, just yeah. The Global Compact is right now, as you would see, that we are the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative. It is actually a call to action to align strategies and operations with universal principles of the uh, uh, UN Global Compact in the areas of respecting how businesses respecting human rights, respecting labor's rights, taking care of the environment, and also business that is transparent and anti-corruption. It was introduced like 23 years ago by the late Kofi Annan, the then UN Secretary General, and it's continuing on until now. The UN Secretary General is our chairman, so our CEO and CEO of the UN Global Compact is also named as a Assistant Secretary General in the effort to drive private sector to be part of the solution for the global challenges. Our mission, like I mentioned before, is actually to mobilize businesses. So what we do is we promote the 10 principles to the businesses. We drive them to be more responsible by utilizing a number of our platforms in doing business and aligning it with the 10 principles, of course. Now, these principles, 10 principles, is not something that is developed or innovated by the UN Global Compact. It actually a universal principles like the human rights, it's everything that we agreed upon by the United Nations and the countries that have been endorsed by countries. So it's something that is already there that we just pick up some principles that is aligning very much with the business sector, business world. Now, I'm just moving quickly to our topic here, because doing the 10 principles is actually includes everything that we have, like from environmental, social, and governance. So for this topic, I will move what we've been doing. So we introduce, based on the existing reports that we are not on target on the SDGs, right? So we've been mandated by the UN how to accelerate the businesses. Doing business as usual is no longer an option. How we could then move forward, doing like, quantum leap to be able to cope with the gap that we have that is still so much. So we are focusing on 5 accelerator programs. One of those is climate ambition. Now, the climate ambition is equip businesses with tools, with platforms, with benchmarks on how they could implement it into their business operations. It has modules from the foundation. We provide business cases and the implementation. And now this is we are part of the Science-Based Target Initiative group, the UN Global Compact, the WWF, CDP, and WRI. So with the effort, we come up with the Ambition Accelerator. And we also promote for businesses to adopt the science-based target on how they calculate the emission reduction science-based. In Indonesia, I think we have more than 20 signatories of SBT right now, and some of them I can show you here, which are members of the UN Global Compact. One of those is APP Sinarmas, the April Group, APR, Dynapac, and ANJ. And I think there are recent signatories as well. And we hope that, by promoting this, we will have more signatories of the SBT in Indonesia. We are also introducing the Ocean Stewardship Coalition hub in Indonesia with the support of the Ministry of National Development Planning, Bappenas, and also Marves. We are developing this ocean center next year for us to gain support from businesses on how to be more focused on the blue theme. We also promote just transition on renewable energy. I will not speak more of these, but later on, if you have questions, we can involve in the question and answers. But I think we can also share this PowerPoint later on for some of them who are interested. And then Global Compact also, like I mentioned before, that business as usual is no longer an option. So Global Compact come up with the Forward Faster initiative. There are supporting businesses in 5 areas. We talk about how we could reduce the economic gender gap right now. That is so big. It needs like 267 years for us to close the economic gender gap. And also climate action, and also living wage, water resilience, and finance and investment. And we have accelerator programs in terms of innovation. So we introduced this, SDG Innovation Accelerator for Young Professionals. For Indonesia, for Global Compact, this is already the third year. But for Indonesia, this year was the first year. And, from this accelerated innovation project that we introduced, there are a number of innovations in climate. As you would have seen, that the Young SDG Accelerator Innovators Program, they come up with innovation to answer the world's biggest problem in terms of climate and renewable energy. So we are very proud of them, and we're continuing on with this innovation accelerator program next year, and hopefully, it will be a sustainable project going forward. With that, I thank you so much.
Thank you, Bu. I'm happy because 2 speakers, not 10 minutes. So I hope we have plenty time to discuss later. The next speakers is Pak Indroyono. Please, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Onte. Next slide. Can I have the slide, please? First of all, I would like to thank the Indonesia Pavilion for inviting me for this presentation. I need the slide for this. I would like to share with you some information regarding how can the forest industry support the energy transition in Indonesia and all over the world. But to start with, I'd like to share with you what is our target in 2030. The business as usual greenhouse greenhouse gas emissions in 2030 is for Indonesia at 2,869 million tons. If we are working with FOLU, forest and other land uses, our, our BAU, and, BAU greenhouse gas emission will be reached around still plus 714 million tons. If we go with our and with internal support, we should be able to reduce up into below zero on forest sector to minus 15 million tons in 2030. But if you go with a long-term strategy for this, for Indonesia program, in the forest sector, we should be able to reduce up to 140 million tons of carbon CO2 equivalents in 2030. So these are all the target for ours. How can we do that? Indonesia forest industries now have 600 concessions, units, concessionaires, totaling of 30 million hectares of forest, consists of plantation forest, 11.2 million hectares, natural forest, 18 million hectares, and we call it ecosystem restoration forest, around 1 million hectares. These are the 30 million production forests that ready to be used to achieve the full net sink 2030. We have to do 12 type of mitigation actions, from the reducing forest deforestation, reducing forest degradations, up into sustainable forest management, into peat restoration, and into also up to water resource management. And at the end, also we have to do some conservation on biodiversities. Of course, we have to mobilize resources on this, because in order to achieve the full net sink 2030, we have to mobilize 14 billion US dollar, out of which 7.7 billion should be coming from the non-government, and the government should provide around 6.3 billion US dollars. We have to do this, and one of the activities, two of the activities, and we can use it in our forest mitigation action to provide on carbon emission reduction, at the same time also to go into energy transition. Number one, on the plantation forest establishments is around 6 million hectares, and also enhancing the carbon stock, which is around 2 million hectares. This can be used into what we call it a co-firing project, biomass energy to complement the coal power in Indonesia. The state-owned electric company, PLN, already set a co-firing program of 52 co-firing locations in 114 coal power plant units all over Indonesia with 18,000 megawatt. This requires 4.1 million tons per year biomass feedstock, which we can provide that one. Where is those biomass coming from? There's many of those. Usually we use so many species of trees. We produce wood chips or wood pellets, and this we will put it into gasification and combustion, and it can work into power plants as a boiler and also for heating purposes. I'd like to share with you 6 types of trees which are applicable into a co-firing project of biomass energies. 2 of those, Gamal and Kaliandra, they have calorie values are more than 4,500 calories, and these are good for complementing the feedstock for coal power plant. And for that, there are 2 issues that we can use. Suppose we are using Kaliandra trees, we can use wood chips to power the power plants, the coal power plants, and also we can produce wood pellets. We can use it for export. So the choice is yours, and Indonesia is blessed with a tropical condition with 365 days of sunshine. We should be able to produce a lot of biomass resources to feedstock for the power plants and also for export. I'd like to share with you, this is some of those activities in mitigation action. The degraded land of forest rehabilitation can be done with this, mixed forests, and also for afforestation, reforestation, and revegetation approach. I just discussed this a while ago with the President Director of PLN. Yes, we are very happy to learn that now there is new ministerial regulation decree from the Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources regarding the biomass energy policies. Among others is the price of the biomass energy is coming from biomass. Now the price is 1.2 times the coefficient of coal price on domestic market obligations. If currently the domestic market obligation for coal in Indonesia is $70, so the biomass now is around $84 per ton. It's a good price to go into a biomass program in Indonesia. The question is why? Because beside this is sustainable, beside this is create jobs, but also this we can make Indonesia, reducing the coal for power plant and change these resources with biomass. I just found out a while ago that yes, we are going to introduce to PLN which part of area of PLN can be used for the co-firing. It is something also there are 2,100 of diesel power plant in the eastern part of Indonesia can be changed into other renewable energy. Can be hydropower, can be photovoltaic, can be also biomass, and also geothermal. If this possible, I think the biomass program in Indonesia and all over the world, I think we have a two-pronged result. One is we are able to reduce to change the energy transition from coal power into a biomass. Second, also to create jobs for the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. The potential of biomass is very huge, ya. Thank you, Pak Indro, Pak Indroyono, and next, Miss Licia, please share with me about the SBTI and maybe the experience from the other countries. Maybe good for us to learn, please.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the invite. Very happy to be here representing the SBTI. I'm not part of the Asian world. I'm Brazilian, so I mostly work with the Latin American companies and partners. But the SBTI is a global initiative, so everything we do is for global purposes. So I don't have slides. I thought it is a talk show, so I'm not going to prepare slides. It's very Latino, so just talk and come into some agreements. But telling you a bit about what the SBTI is, we are, as Josephine mentioned, a coalition among 4 international organizations. So the UN Global Compact, CDP, WRI, and WWF. We started our work in 2014, so almost 10 years ago. And what we do is that we develop criteria, methods, tools for companies to decarbonize aligned with the Paris Agreement goals. So limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees and achieving net zero before 2050. So our focus is the private sector and the financial institutions. And besides developing these tools, criteria, methods, we also validate the targets from these companies. So guaranteeing that they are ambitious enough, that they are science-based. And so far we have almost 7,000 companies globally committed to the SBTI. And this week we reached a milestone for the initiative. That is, we have now 4,000 companies with validated targets. Globally, we also reached 500 net zero targets validated. So net zero targets are the most ambitious targets that we have, because it means that the company will need to come to zero emissions or to a level of residual emissions by no later than 2050. So having 500 companies globally with approved net zero targets is definitely a milestone for us. And in the way that we are upscaling our adoption and development, we are working with the higher emitter sectors, let's say, and providing them with sectoral guidelines, so specific guidelines on how they can decarbonize. We have, like last year and this year, launched guidelines for the cement sector, steel, maritime, and also the AFOLU sector, so for agriculture, forest, and other land use change. This is a sector that is key for the global transition. It represents 22% of global emissions that were not covered by targets and that now can be covered by science-based targets. And with regards the renewable energy, we know that transition to this net zero world, we need to step away from the fossil fuels, dramatically grow the renewable energy scenarios. And in the SBTI, we are working with the power sector for a very long time. So in 2020, we launched our guidance for the sector so that they could be aligned with the 1.5C trajectories. And we know that all the sectors are also dependent on the power sector. So that's why we developed our guidance. This sector, in accordance to science, needs to reach net zero by 2040. More than 70% of all global emissions came from the energy sector. So that's why we are working with the power sector and also providing guidance to all of the other higher emitting sectors so that they can, in collaboration, decarbonize and reach the levels that we need.
Thank you. Thank you. Together with us also Pak Satya, saya lihat ada di sini. Can you help us later, Pak? After this, maybe with remarks and conclusion, yeah? I do ask your help to do after our conversation. Okay, I will go to Ibu Elim. Ibu Elim, I saw already 30% reduce the energy from APP. Of course, there are so many challenges to do that. And can you talk, elaborate more, Bu, about the journey, how to do this, and then what lesson learned maybe you can share and can talk to the others, maybe company here.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Onte. So maybe you go to the slide. Can you turn on my slides? So basically, just now Pak Indroyono has explained that there is an opportunity of the biomass within the forestry plantation. So APP already committed on SBTI. And of course, in the SBTI itself, a lot of challenges and basically I would like to explain how we can, because of APP is not only mills, but we also manage the upstream side. So I would like to explain about how we connect and preparing and involving technology within the overall GHG automation MRV. So if you see the upstream side, we have a total 2.6 million hectares gross area within our supply chain. And we some kind preparing all the, because of like what Lizia said, recently SBTI as well launched the SBTI flag, which is part of the commitment to SBTI. We have a responsibility how we can identify all the activity referred to the new framework. And then in terms of size, of course, we need the MRV or how we measure, including to find the potential and do some verification. In the upstream side, start, of course, how we can identify the carbon credit potential within the conservation area. We have set aside 600,000 hectares, and up to how we can monitor all the carbon impact within the activity. In the downstream side, like I mentioned before, we are not achieving the 30% Pak Onte, so that's our aim by 2030. But of course, we are going there. We already up to 13% up to now and doing some efficiency. And of course, identify the potential improvement as well within our generation and how we are now, especially in our old mill, we are now thinking our new mill, basically already 99% renewable, biomass and our black liquor. And through transition from the old mill, from coal to the renewable is a big challenge. Just now, Pak Indroyono said the biomass price already increased, right, Pak? 1.2 means that's impact to our cost if we also convert from the coal to biomass. So this is one of the challenges. We talked with the several experts as well, and we want to try one of our boiler as well to see how we can, if we convert to the 100% biomass, because we need a huge volume of biomass, and we want to make sure the availability, the sustainable of the biomass within the location itself can support us. And yeah, we are exploring some of the species that can support the biomass itself. And the question whether this is, we also have to think not only, we have to think long term if we want to convert, because of the investment is not cheap. A huge investment needed to convert from even coal to biomass. And whether this biomass we can call sustain and also contribute to the still carbon, right? It's only transition. So this is the decision that, the challenges that right now we didn't, especially us from the pulp and paper. And of course, we preparing as well from the upstream side, how much carbon, because of, I believe cannot be 100%, cannot 100% phase out from the coal, because of the price increase will also impact to the cost of the product, and impact by the end, impact to the consumer. So this is something that we need to find a lot of, I hope that there will be a new technology can support. And as a big industry in Indonesia, I believe that we cannot do alone. We need to collaborate with government, with several industry, how we can invest together, especially in terms of infrastructure. If we talk about the hydrogen, a lot of also exploring the CCUS, and I don't know whether we are ready to also use nuclear in the future. We know that nuclear is a part of the clean energy, but how ready Indonesia can use this technology. So this whole process that I think APP also need to think about the long term. If you see our mill early 90, up to now, basically the machine still okay. And of course, our focus right now improve the efficiency because of the old mill. While we exploring all the, yeah, like I said, biomass, we are not there convert 100% directly. Even our new mill, we designed from the beginning, right? It's easy. But this is old mill, how to convert from the old machine to the new machine. It's like you develop the new mill. The investment similar like you install the new mill. So this is something that we want to find the right choice which is impact to, I mean, we will, in terms of business point of view, we need to consider the investment, the cost, and the choices for the long term. Of course, the commitment to contribute to decarbonization is our vision already.
Oh, thank you, Bu. Sorry, so 30% in 2030, okay, and now OTW, yeah, ongoing to there, yeah. And Ibu Elim, how, I know you mentioned about APP tried to implement the SBTI, right? How is the experience there? Is difficult to using SBTI or easy, or what can you share about this?
So yeah, I think the framework is really good. I can say it's really powerful to connect each industry. If we talk about scope 1, 2, 3, right? Our scope 3 is, our scope 1 is basically our customer scope 3. I think the framework tried to connect everybody and push everybody to do the effort. So that's, I saw this framework is really powerful. So even APP also getting pushed, right, for the customer. If you are not doing, then we will not gonna buy from you. Now the challenge is our scope 3, because we buy a lot of things local in the supplier, and then we have to admit it, especially in the developing countries, understanding about the decarbonization. Even we are in the big corporation, still have a challenges in terms of investment. If we see the middle SME, the small medium enterprise, I mean, if you talk about implement the decarbonization, coming to the cost, they already, okay, let me wait and then see how the big or corporation doing it. But this is one of our challenge. We have to push because of they are part of our scope 3. So I think, yeah, I appreciate as well from the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce because of that's a net zero hub can push, right? Everybody should put their commitment. Let's start together from the small. So this is important. Otherwise, we will not gonna address if only one company like us, because of all our supply chain is a lot of industry. So that part of our scope 3.
Yes.
40% from our emission coming from the scope 3.
Yes.
So
yes.
this is big challenges if you ask me.
Licia, how we can tackle these big challenges for us, for the companies?
It's hard. It's really hard. And recognizing how hard it is, Scope 3 emissions, in accordance with CDP data, represents 11.5 times more than Scope 1 and 2 emissions from companies. So that's why it's so important, and that's why it's also so hard to decarbonize in the supply chain, because it's not under the company level of decision. The company needs to include their clients and their suppliers. So to support companies in this journey, the SBTI has just launched a full set of new guidances that we are calling supplier engagement guidance. So it includes a full report with ideas on how the company can engage their suppliers. We also have training videos, and we also have case studies from companies that are globally engaging their suppliers in this journey. Now we have two very good cases, one from AstraZeneca and the other one from Salesforce. So both companies are asking all of their suppliers to set science-based targets, and it's a process that takes time, takes money, so it requires investment, because then the company first needs to go through an internal buy-in process. So how do you convince your higher leadership team that, oh, wow, I need to invest money now in my full supply chain? Then you have to have a team properly set to connect with the suppliers, engage with them, provide training, because some of them doesn't even know what GHG is, how to measure, how to monitor, and so on. So, and then you have to finally engage them on a day-to-day, monitor how they are evaluating or not, what they should be doing. So it's a process, but it's must needed. And in the SBTI, one of our criteria is that every time that Scope 3 emissions represent more than 40% of the overall emissions of a company, this company also needs to have a Scope 3 target. And that's how we are pushing the decarbonization in the supply chains.
Okay, thank you. Pak Indroyono, takes time, takes money if we want to do SBTI target. But if we're looking for, like Ibu Elim said, mostly if we're talking about biomass, maybe scope 3 for Ibu Elim, maybe scope 1 for anggota APHI, for example. How you see this, Pak?
Let me begin with this, okay? We agree that we are going to do emission reduction and energy transition. We agree with that, okay? We want to reduce the utilization of coal. We agree with that, right? So we have choices of renewable energy. Of course, most of them still the price is higher than coal, right, Pak Satya? Let's power, hydropower, photovoltaic, geothermal, biomass, at least nuclear maybe. Out of those four, the lowest cost is biomass energy. I was surprised, not me mentioned this, the President Director, Mr. Darmo, who just talked to me, he mentioned that. Regarding the hydropower, the cost is higher than, if you talk about coal resources, it's only 4 to 5 cents per ton. The other renewable is 5, 6, 9, 11 cents per ton. I mean, per kilowatt hour, I'm so sorry, per kWh. So please, let's do that. I know that these panelists, most of them are doing downstream. I'm working upstream to downstream.
Yes.
Okay? So for the upstream people, now we should be able to find how can we create jobs so they can plant, they can harvest, they can replant, they can reharvest again. And then this is a very good for a country like Indonesia because why? You can grow any trees in Indonesia. In bare land, in fertile, non-fertile, you can do that all. Okay, now we should agree from the beginning, let's go, let's change the coal power. I mean, the power from coal resources. Let supplement or change with others. I think this is the common ground that we like to work together. Okay, and last but not least, hopefully by doing so, we might be able, to achieve our NDC target and also our follow net sink target in 2030 for Indonesia. This is what I'd like to share with you. If anybody would like to set compare to coal, of course, this is coal always the lowest price because we have the Council of Energy Council of Indonesia, Pak Satya. Of course, everybody want to go with coal. Now we have to change this one because we have to do some energy transition. We have to reduce the emission. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Bu Yosefin, so there's an opportunity, of course there are challenges. What can Indonesian Global Compact can help the company, can push the company to do this?
Yeah, very interesting. For Global Compact, first and foremost is how businesses should do it responsibly, right? They need to respect the environment. They need to respect the human. They need to respect the labors. How you do the transition justified, right? It's not easy, like Ibu Eli mentioned earlier, that, cost is high. You need a lot of investment in doing so. We need actually, science-based, of course, is important, but innovation, right? That is cheap. Indonesia has been the spotlight of all these fossil mining energy things, but listening that it's not easy to do so. So we need to do it collaboratively. So the UN Global Compact support businesses how to support their journey by providing them with tools. Okay, so like, the energy transition, how they do it, the climate transition in a responsible way, but then also at the same time avoiding naming and shaming, because a lot of the companies that are in the what is called energy kotor have always been the spotlight. But right now what Global Compact do is knowing and showing. So we provide them with the tools. We provide them with science-based target, how you calculate science-based. So it's not greenwashing, but you show them that this is how we calculate doing that. And then we need confirmation for doing that. And Global Compact is always in the forefront in driving businesses to do their business responsibly. For Global Compact, we are not a certification company. So we don't actually ask them how to certify. I mean, there's consultant doing that. For Global Compact is showing them how to. So we provide them with tools and knowing that it's not easy. So for us, it doesn't matter what size of the businesses, from small, from middle, from big, or in all different industries. There is our care. And we always support businesses. Some people, they manage to do it fast. Some business can do it fast. Some businesses have to start from the very beginning. So it doesn't matter, which level you are, which sizes you are, for as long as you have the commitment of doing so, then we will always be with you. We have the UN Global Compact Academy that is available to all our members. It's a very rich academy, and we also do webinar series, we do training, we do workshops to support businesses in the know-how. You know, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu. We have 30 minutes before Pak Satya. Maybe there are questions from the audience? One, and the others? Two. Please, the first one. Please.
Test. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. My name is Faiha. I'm currently working as the board of International Forestry Students Association, where we try to encourage youth actions, including in the topic of renewable energy solutions. So we find it very interesting for this topic today. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your experience in the work sector. I actually have two questions, if you don't mind, sir. First of all, I would like to address to Bu Elim from the Asia Pulp and Paper. As you have presented before, right now the APP has a target in 2030 and reducing 30% in carbon footprint. And we have done a lot in trying to push out the energy efficiency and also shifting coal and to biomass. As I am aware, the pulp and paper utilize a lot of coal in the production making, right? And at the same time, the APP also has forest concession for timber production. So my question is, are there any ongoing initiatives or plan to allocate some of those area to produce biomass instead of using waste, perhaps? That's my first question. Is it going to be answered first?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
second?
And then my second question to Pak Indroyono from APHI. So first of all, sir, you already mentioned a lot of biomass potential and how it could grow efficiently in Indonesia. And I think it will affect how multi-business forestry will change the business ecosystem in Indonesia itself, especially in our forest industry. So, sir, what kind of strategy would you suggest to shift the paradigm from wood-based industry to multi-business at the concession holder level? Because especially since we have the urgency to increase the progress, as you have mentioned before, with the strategic issues and everything. So I think that would be my question for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The second, please, Nick. Ibu Elim ya,
Tes.
Pak.
Thank you, Bang Onde, and everyone in the panel. My name is Nick. I'm part of Systemic and also the Blended Finance Task Force. I think one of the topic that hasn't been covered is the financing. We see that APP has committed to the SBTI, and I think that is a huge thing for Indonesia because it doesn't only affect the land use sector, but also it affects the value chain, right? So I guess the question needs to be turned around to the capital providers as well. From APP, what kind of financing do you need? What financing support do you need from both the domestic but also international capital providers, right? Because the cost will be big to transition, and more support will be needed to companies like APP, but also to the members of your association, Pak. So I think the question is for anyone who wants to answer, what financing support do you need, and what can climate finance do more to support you? That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Ibu Elim, please.
Okay, let me answer the first question. Yes, pulp and paper need very huge energy, and that's why realize that we are one of the biggest in Indonesia. Is our responsible also to contribute to the government target. Our target 30%, and using SBTI, we also already committed going to net zero by 2050. And we start with the efficiency. I think previously the first session, just now I mentioned about how we start to map our mills, pulp mills, and which one that we need to prioritize. And basically on paper, last year we invited one of the biggest consultant as well to help us to do some high level analysis. What kind of priority that APP has to focus. And of course, the advice as well convert from the coal to biomass. But considering the availability of biomass, even we have, like I said, 2.6 gross area within our supply chains, our raw material, we need the land as well from the plantation. And we also start to map, especially with the community land, and how we can also encouraging. But it's not easy because we also cannot force the community only plant biomass for us. They also have some agriculture. That's the plan. And in the meantime, like I said, we want to focus on one meals as first, and how we can improve efficiency with several boiler. And we want to test if one boiler, we can success to convert to biomass. On paper, basically we can achieve the 30% easy. So the problem, the investment. I think, yeah, I can connect directly with the answer. The investment, yes, we need the financial support here, not only doing the feasibility study, but how the financial can also support in terms of, because we need millions US dollar to only one boiler, to convert one boiler from coal to biomass. Last time BCG calculate 100 millions if we want to convert 100%, which is impossible in terms of business. It's like I said, you use like a new meals. You like delete old meal and then build a new one. So, but the decision is not easy. Internal, we need to convince, is it the right decision, right? Is it the right choice to convert from the coal to biomass? Considering right now the availability, and then like Indroyono said, a lot of analysis said that yes, biomass is the one of the alternative. And not only APP needs the biomass. A lot of industries start convert to biomass. Everybody needs biomass. Now the price already 20% higher than coal. How about every business convert to biomass? So this is something that we need time to do feasibility study from upstream to downstream. How to make sure that, let's say community plant the biomass, they will only sell to APP, right? Because of the demand coming from a lot of industry, not from APP itself. So this is something that consideration that we need to think, because of the investment is not like a 10 years investment, maybe 20 or 30 years investment. And we also need to think about the right choices for the long term, right? Because of it's not the biomass. Another thing that we need to think about the waste after it burns. So it's a circular bioeconomy thinking that we need to think overall. But of course, we exploring, and the support is starting from the feasibility study. And we know the financial institution support on the decarbonization is not 100% with the special rate. So only 20% from the 100% that you need. And the rest, they will treat as a market interest. And then if we are fail, they don't care. You have to pay whatever that you already lend. So this is something that decision we need to really think long term. Of course, but we understand. Back to the, if you ask about the commitment, I think how you care about the environment, like Bu Josie said, is not only talking about the cost, but if you have heart or if you have care to contribute to the environment, I think everybody can find the solution. Cost is a second thing at the end. But we also have to think about the sustainability, talking about the sustainable of the business itself. We also have to think about the cost is not impact directly to the business and then become not sustainable. So this decision, but I believe within the board in APP already committed that we have to go there. But what is the decision? Let's not to buru-buru apa? Not to hurry, yeah, because of this is the very long-term decision, and we need to also see how the right decision, and I hope that Pak Satya can also some insight from the government. And even though APP is not the priority in the country, but we try our effort. So to show our contribution to the decarbonization. So I
Thank
hope,
you, William.
Thank you.
Ke Pak Indroyono, Pak, please.
Thank you. What is the strategy, right? I think if you follow the law that has been accessed in Indonesia in 2020, there's law number 11 of 2020 regarding job creations. By having this new regulation, now the forest industries move from a wood sector into multi-business. Not only producing woods, but also among others, ecosystem services, biomass energy, ecotourism, agroforestry, and so on. So I think this is the thing. Yes, the members of Indonesian concessionaires has also changed their mind to go into multi-business activities. You know, because usually they only have a single activities, now become multi-business. They have to learn. Now they have to go from upstream, downstream into the market, all in one line. This is still in the learning processes, but we are moving toward that, knowing that, for example, last year in 2022, our export upstream, downstream to the market is 14.3 billion US dollars. I think that's the largest ever in Indonesia. So that's the idea. And Nick, how about the capital? Let me inform you that if you go green right now, a lot of funding coming for green program. In Indonesia itself, you know, there is a agency who provide the funding for environmental activities. We call it BPDLH. Okay. Other bankers in Indonesia now moving toward green funding also, like Bank Rakyat Indonesia (BRI) was ready to fund program into a green energy. In the meantime, in the global market, European banking, for example, yes, in green they will ready support with a very small additional insurance, so that you can get a very good interest program in a banking financial engineering, in order that you can provide you with a good capital to do this kind of activities. And one last thing to Ibu Elim, of course, let me put it this way. Let's put it from the technological point of view. If you build power plant, you need boilers, you need turbine, you need, okay, those are the two, you need generators, okay. To go into biomass, please, Ibu Elim, ask them not to change everything, change the boiler only. You can get 30–40% reduction already. So now the technology is moving toward that. You just see which part of the component that we can go, the latest technology, you don't need to change the whole thing. I think APP already working with Finland, right? With Vale, you change the boiler so that you can put everything, wood chips and everything, put pellets into the program. So yes, the technology is moving forward. I think we can make this in more efficient way. So Compact and my colleague here, please help us, you know, on this activity. You're the one who mobilized the latest technology. This is the commitment of all the developed countries, and you help us so the developing countries can have the technologies and not too expensive. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Licia, are your idea about how to help?
So I think we have to move the financial flows towards this innovation and towards companies that are doing their part. And for this, the SBTI has developed a framework especially for financial institutions. And then these financial institutions not only set targets for their own operations, but they set targets for their portfolio emissions, because that is where their highest impact are. So the idea is that they will call companies that are part of their portfolios to also set targets. So they will kind of push the adoption of science-based targets to these companies that are doing what they need to do and that need financial resources to do so, to innovate, to include their suppliers, their clients in the journey. So I think it's about also pushing financial institutions to set targets, innovating in the new technologies that we need to develop, and also collaborating in this what we call ambition loops. So where the governments are pushing the market to develop these innovations, to set targets and all, but also the market pushes the government to develop the regulatory frameworks, the policies, and the correct incentivize that the market needs to also implement all these changes.
Oh, interesting, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Ibu Josephine, about the help, Pak Endriono said, what can Indonesia Global Compact can help?
Yeah, I think we need, first of all, need policy dialogue, right? How we can incentivize the businesses. How can government support providing incentives for businesses to transition? From the global compact perspective, we need to do dialogue because like Ibu Eli mentioned earlier, there's no way you can do this alone. We need everyone else. We need to collaborate together. And I think in different part of the world, around the corner, around the world, we know that there are efforts to see from technology point of view, right? How we could do this transition in a just way and an economical way as well. We know that the transition is not easy and it's not cheap. Yeah, so I think we do need collaboration. We need to discuss. We need to collaborate and then do it. Technological innovation. How we could come up with something that is that make it not expensive for businesses because it's not easy. At the end of the day, business needs to make their ends meet, right? Paying salary. They cannot do it alone, and then it's not easy. But for global compact is how to drive business to do it in a meaningful way, right? Do it in a meaningful way, not just like what we hear. Then it's greenwashing, right? Business do not want to do that. APP wants to do it in a responsible way. Why? It's good for the business, and it's for the business sustainability, and it's also for the investors' needs, right? So I think it's not just like you do it and then it happens. What we need is really, really a collaboration and not pointing fingers. I believe that's what we need to do going forward.
Thank you, Bu. So, 10 minutes left. I want to go Pak Satya, but Pak, 1, 2 ya, before Pak Satya first and then second. Please, Pak.
Thank you very much. Very interesting discussion, very informative. I would like to know what is the baseline of the new and renewable energy in the beginning of 2015 when you have been actually looking at the Paris Agreement and also the transition to new and renewable energy. What was the baseline in 2015 for nuclear, wind, solar, and electric vehicles and green mobility? And what is it now, and what is it going to be in 2030 when you're talking about 30%? That's one question. And the second question is that you mentioned frugal innovations. Frugal innovations with startup firms, which are actually looking at solutions, both in adaptation and mitigation. I think it will be very useful if we are also able to look at some of the good practices from other countries. I'm from India, and then we have been seeing a lot of startup ecosystem products and services. And one question also on mitigation versus adaptation.
Oh.
If you can actually look at incentives and disincentives, adaptation seems to be having a greater role, from all sectors. So what are your thoughts on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. For this incentive and incentive, maybe Pak Satya also will help us to answer. And sir, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Eric Gibbs with the Clean Energy Buyers Alliance. What we've seen in the United States is that corporate clean energy procurement is what is driving clean energy development. And my question for the panel is, you have many members of SEBA that have made very aggressive clean energy, 100% clean energy goals, SBTI targets. And in order to achieve those targets, not only are they committing to clean energy, but their suppliers also have to accelerate their own clean energy journey. And that takes you deep into the supply chain in countries like Indonesia. So I'm curious, what are the measures that are currently available on the policy side, okay, that allow corporates to purchase clean energy in Indonesia? Because Indonesia has a very aggressive renewable energy target of 30% by 2030. That is only going to be achieved by the private sector investing in clean energy. So I'm very curious to know, what are the policies that are going to allow corporations to procure clean energy in Indonesia? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Policy side, there are Pak Satya here. Pak Satya is a steering committee of Chair Green Economy in Indonesian DPR RI. DPR apa bahasa Inggrisnya? Parliament of Republic of Indonesia. Maybe Pak Satya will help us to that. But maybe short notice from Ibu Elim, Pak Indriono, Lesia, and Ibu Josephine, please.
Yeah, maybe I can answer the baseline. You can check our sustainability roadmap. We start to set the baseline 2018 and having target to reduce 30% by 2030. And that time we measured the carbon intensity. Until we commit to SBTI, we have to recalibrate our target because of the framework push the company to reduce using absolute number, is not intensity. So this is one of the challenge, and of course we already realized that, like Pa Indra, we exploring some of the boiler. We have an internal expert in terms of boiler from Finland, so to help us to review all which, because we coming from the different type of boiler, so this is the challenges. And of course, start with the efficiency is the first step. And the second, we want to try one of the boiler, if we convert to the biomass, what will be the performance? And like I said on the paper, hopefully, if everything success, then we can achieve the 30% reduction. So, but another challenge is in the scope 3. That's, I only talk the scope 1. Scope 2, we already installed the solar panel, our target 30 megawatt, which is already installed 18 megawatt. And this is also collaborate with our partner. APP not invested for install the solar panel. We close all the rooftop within our mills. So that's contributed to our scope 2. If we compare to the scope 2, reduce 10%, but overall carbon is less than 1% contribution. So because we need a huge energy. So I hope that the technology to addressing scope 1, which is our scope 3 and under company scope 1, can coming like solar panel. In the past, very expensive. Right now, it's already cheap. Even the investment high, but in terms of operational costs can reduce 10%. So this is our dream, right, together. How other technology can come like solar panel. 10 years ago, I think not much people want to install the solar panel because of the very high investment, right? But right now, already have the new technology. High investment, but in terms of operational costs can reduce. Okay. So yeah, that's my...
Thank you, Bu Elim.
Thank you.
Pak Indriano?
First of all, I think I'm very happy. We should learn from India. Lesson learned among countries, very, very good. Thank you very much for this. I think we learn from you. And actually, I think for global impact, can we not want to talk? Let's do it, because sometimes multilateral program like this is not moving anywhere. So please, maybe go with the prototyping work project in any countries, trying with solar power, trying with biomass energy, maybe with geothermal, maybe with current, ocean current. I think you should global impact should do this so that everybody can learn, maybe like in India. Yes, yes. Second, the question that Eric, you asked about this, you know that Indonesia is ready to go with our NDC target. We should be ready by 2060 or earlier to get the net zero and net zero emission for all. Okay, in forestry sector, we targeted into 2030 follow net sink. So this is how is the private sector activity on this. Actually, the government already set the regulation. There was a law energy 2007, yeah? Law number 30 2007. The target actually in 2025, just 2 years from now, we have to have a 23% new and renewable energies to be implemented in Indonesia. Even though now we find out that today still 13%. So we have 10% less. We have to go very hard to achieve the 23% target by 2025. In the meantime also, the RUPTL itu apa Pak ya? RUPTL. The electricity planning for Indonesia until 2030, they are targeting more than 50% using new and renewable energy. This is a very good program already set. And I think I discussed with the President Director of PLN just a while ago. Yes, they are moving toward this. And it's not a one fits for all. So there's a variety of technologies, variety of choices. We should go into that, Eric. So I think this is the way the regulation already set. Now it's up to us to try to achieve that target. Thank you.
Ibu Josephine, the last, and then Pak Satya after this.
Yeah. So with the Global Compact, we are, when we talk about the 10 principles, respecting human rights, labor's rights, taking care of the environment and anti-corruptions, we talk about almost everything when you mention about ESG. So recently, the UN Global Compact has what they call Ocean Stewardship Coalition. And then we know that the ocean topic, it's like, a little forgotten. So far, we are almost just about 6 years to go for the 2030 agenda, but we have not yet the global have not yet very focused on ocean. So Global Compact is focusing now on Ocean Stewardship Coalition to help reduce climate with a lot of mitigation. I would just read a small paragraph to you all that the ocean holds several solutions to address the twin crises of biodiversity and climate change. Now, to unlock this potential, a climate-smart approach to the ocean is increasingly vital. The UN Global Compact has developed key recommendations for businesses and government to leverage ocean-based climate solutions, particularly in 4 action areas: zero emission maritime transport, low carbon blue food, harnessing offshore renewable energy, and nature-based solution, focusing on seaweed. So actually there's a lot, from industries-based, ocean-based businesses that we need to, mobilize in order to gain what the common agenda that we all need to address.
Okay, siap.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bu. So I need Pak Satya, Pak, to remarks and then conclusion, Pak. Thank you very much.
better if I speak with a microphone. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for following up the discussion that we had. It is quite interesting topic, I may say. We have been discussing so many topics in the last few days, and today's topic is quite important because of the integrations between the associations, the business sectors, the private sectors, as well as the institution to provide the tools, how to achieve the success of the Indonesia to become net zero emission by 2060. As everybody knows and aware of that, our president has declared back in COP 2021 when it was in Glasgow that Indonesia is committed to be net zero emission by 2060. My council, the National Energy Council, was mandated by the presidents to draw the scenario how to achieve the net zero emission on energy sector by 2060. We knew that the existing regulation we do have been established in 2017, even earlier, 2014. We call it the National Energy Policy, but we haven't. You see, we haven't ratified Paris Agreement yet, and we haven't decided about the net zero emission 2060. So with that conditions, then nowadays that we are revising the national energy policy. So we like to put all the criteria and all the regulation that now become mandatory for the citizen of the world, because we are all agree, we are all the climate change believers, it's not deniers. So we have to be able to manage with all the changes. So if I can quote from the theory what the Hills been mentioned about how do we transfer from for any kind of the transitions, but I put an example for the transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy. There are three levels of the perspective that Hills promoted. One is what we call the socio-technological regime. So the regime that currently applies for any sectors. In this regard, we are talking about the energy sector, so of course with the follow along with it. And then the other element is the social technological landscape, where provide with all the new regulations, new regulation that need to be imposed in order for us to achieve the goals. And the third perspective what Hill's trying to show to us is the niche innovations. How can we invent the technology that can accelerate the changes, the changes from fossil fuel to renewables. So to this, it shows the commitment from the industry. I may quote like what being mentioned by APP, by Ibu Elim, your commitment, because of APP is quite a strategic industry. You mentioned that APP is nothing, but no, it's quite important. And Indonesia is aiming to reduce the emissions around 116 million ton oil equivalent by 2023. So nowadays we are aiming 118, and now we achieve 116. Just 2 more million to go. And those components that impose, for achieving those emission reduction is the implementation of the renewable energies, consists of 36.1 million ton. So the energy efficiency, Ibu Elim has been, elaborated more. It's contributed of around 20.54 million ton. And the low carbon fuel is 15.47. And the use of the clean generation is 12.31. So if we can achieve with those all number and element of it, then our, our target to get the 118 million ton emission reduction by 2023 will be achieved smoothly. So what I like also to mention to you that, for the scenario that we do have, we need to get support from the industry, from the doer, from the association, as well as from the institution who provide the tools, like just been mentioned by Ibu Josephine from Global Compacts, and also Licia from, you're mentioning about the SBTI, which is it's kind of a tool that provide a lot of help, for the industry to follow. So the Global Compact, as may understand that you also giving an opportunity for the world, to follow with the international norm. So that's, I think, something that we could refer to. because of a lot of element in it that need to get an agreement, among the country in order for us to achieve the goals. Other than that, it's quite difficult for Indonesia, for instance, to promote the strategy which is acceptable by the world. You see, so on the government policy perspective, of course, a lot of components that need to be associated with it. Besides the technology, we have to provide with all the incentives that you just mentioned by you, the one who's sitting in front of me. It is quite important elements because of the financing has become instrumental. That Indonesia has been, been mentioned by President Jokowi a couple of times that Indonesia cannot stand alone, to achieve the net zero emissions. We need to have a cooperation between the most developed country to the least developed country like Indonesia. So we like to have a cooperation among all of us. So I think all in all, this panel is quite important. I do believe that the audience will, a lot of things that you have taken away, from the information that they have provided to all of you. So myself, I'm so happy to listen and watch you carefully, from word that you delivered, the commitment that you delivered. But I do hope that the word commitment, it has to be shown. Because we don't want that in the future, there is a neglection, from certain country, particularly from the developed country, for all the commitment that we made. Because we have to commit and we have to be able to show our commitment to the world. I think that's my short wrap up, and hopefully we'll conclude our discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Satya. And thank you for all speakers. Thank you very much.